Everywhere, it's tough to raise a family these days. In the wilds of South Africa, 2 lionesses, sisters, are single mothers with 2 cubs each. Their mate and protector has gone missing, leaving them vulnerable to marauding males who will kill their cubs and claim their territory. 2 of their cubs are extraordinary. They're almost completely white, the result of an unusual genetic twist. How will this strange coloring affect their survival and the fate of their struggling family? Together, they must face every danger in the African bush. To play it safe, they must play it smart, and it will take all their courage. In South Africa's wild bush country, there are coats of many colors. Some stand out, others blend in. Each coat has a purpose: to distract, to communicate, to hide. Anything new or unusual is tested every moment. This will be the case for some very special lions that were born as white as snow. Only 3 such cubs have survived to adulthood in the wild since white lions were first documented here in Timbavati in 1975. Their cousins are 2 months older, so these white cats will always be the underdogs. But it's their high visibility that may become their greatest challenge. Any cub is in danger if spotted hyenas catch one alone. She's only 4 months old, too young to fend for herself. The hyenas will try to kill her. They don't see her better camouflaged mother. Underneath the dirt is a white lion cub. She and her sister are bound to attract attention. Their mother is Matimba, the powerful one. Both of their parents carry the rare gene that produces white offspring. The tawny cub's mother is almost white herself. Rangers call her Kanya, the pale one. This is a small pride, just 2 adult lionesses, sisters, and their 4 cubs. The little white cubs have a fighting spirit. They are eager to take on their bigger cousins. The males are stronger, but these younger females are feisty little lions. The cubs will need to be both brave and cautious, for they only have their mothers to rely on. Their father and defender of the pride has disappeared. Rival males may have killed him. But whatever the cause, his disappearance is a crisis for the pride. Without him, the little family is a magnet for marauding males. The two mothers have already detected intruders who are attacking a nearby herd of buffalo. One of their calves is down. Buffalo will defend their young ferociously, but this young male doesn't fear them. He has a brother to back him up, and another brother to back him up. These lions are nomads, in search of a pride of lionesses to take over. At 5 years old, they are in peak fitness. A strong coalition like this is ready to claim its own pride and territory. Not even a herd of buffalo can stop them. But they will try. The mother buffalo swings back, desperate to rally her fallen calf. But it's too late. The breeze carries a sharp warning to the two mothers. Matimba can smell the intruder's scent. They're out there, somewhere. A deep maternal instinct directs the two mothers. They must take their cubs away, far from the approaching danger. Far from the familiar mountains that overshadow their home. Deeper into unknown territory. Kruger National Park is vast, more than twice the size of Yellowstone. It's covered by dense woodland that supports great herds of plant eaters. All of these creatures are adapted to the bush in their own special ways. And all of them are prey for lions. Kruger is ruled by 2,000 lions, each pride with its own distinct territory. Matimba and Kanya will not be welcome on other lions' land. They can only keep their 4 cubs alive if they stay out of these territories. From now on, this family must live in the shadows. But wherever they go, they will still leave signs behind. One of the 3 nomads is on their trail. He can smell their scent. If the nomads catch up to them, they will kill the cubs. That will bring Matimba and Kanya back into estrus, so they will bear the nomads' offspring soon after. Rival predators pose another lethal threat. If the cubs are found unattended by a keen-eyed leopard, it will kill them. Hyenas will too. Predators don't want rivals around. Heavy rain clouds mark the onset of summer. the empty river now comes back to life. Waterbuck thrive in wetlands, but even they are captivated by the spectacle. From all around, animals come to the river. It gives wild dogs a chance to cool off. But none enjoy it more than the elephants. The white cubs are now 8 months old. Their tawny cousins, 10 months. This is unfamiliar territory for the two mothers. They don't know the best hunting spots. And the bush here is so dense, it hides prey well. Sharp eyes will see the white cubs against the bright green leaves, long before the lions see them. After weeks with little to eat, the cubs are skin and bones. Mother lions do abandon weak cubs. But Matimba waits. Yet without better hunting, the cubs won't make it. So the mothers lead their offspring back to familiar territory. Home to Timbavati. Up ahead, half a day's journey, is the favorite waterhole of a huge herd of buffalo. The strongest and meanest of lion prey. To feed, the lions will have to get past aggressive bulls and a herd of horns. A wounded buffalo is a perfect target. As long as the herd stays put, he is safe. But after satisfying its thirst, the large herd must move on to find good grazing. The lame buffalo is left behind. The injured buffalo has taken shelter in the river in an attempt to forestall his fate. It's Kanya. Matimba is by her side, with the cubs. This will be their first buffalo hunt. Matimba can see that she has no need to hide. The buffalo is helpless. But he's still too far from shore. The buffalo is playing its only card. In water, Matimba loses the advantage. she's wary. And now there's a bigger problem approaching. The stalkers are now stalked themselves. The elephant ensures the buffalo lives a little bit longer. But the family is too hungry to give up on a sure thing. Now, Matimba settles into wait, while Kanya chooses a spot in full view of the buffalo. The cubs are learning. One lioness distracts the prey, while the other waits to attack. Hours later, the buffalo changes position, but not wisely. It's just what Matimba has been waiting for. The buffalo is too weak to fight. The cubs take it all in. The lionesses show the cubs exactly what to do. At last, the hungry cubs can fill their bellies. The pride will eat and rest all through the night. The white cubs are now 10 months old. At this age, everything's a target for fun. Kanya never refuses an invitation to play. As for Matimba, she's always on duty, guarding her family. Still, Kanya always tries to lighten Matimba's spirit. The cubs join in as Matimba approaches. Spotted hyenas are searching for food. They will follow lions, especially groups without males. After the lionesses have hunted, they will gang up to push them off their kills. Our pride has taken down a zebra. The cubs are not old enough to hunt, but they're not so small and helpless anymore. The hyenas move in. The cubs are big enough to learn how to confront hyenas, so Matimba takes them forward. The atmosphere is charged with aggression. By scuffing the ground, Matimba stakes their claim to this place and the zebra kill behind them. Matimba allows the cubs to lead the confrontation. The cubs advance to the limit of their confidence, but it's still a standoff. Now Matimba shows them how to end the dispute. A day like this turns a cub into a lion. Kruger's hot summer days are a time to rest. Animals need to get out of the baking sun. Leopards take shelter up in the trees, and the lions in the shade beneath them. The leopard goes unnoticed until she moves. And that gives the cubs an idea. It's May, the beginning of autumn in Kruger National Park. The cubs are now 11 months old. They're strong and fit. Their mothers have raised them well. They can now follow on hunts, watching their mother's every move. Everything is fair game for these lions. Even the tallest of prey. They've taken the young giraffe and have dragged it under a bush, out of sight from vultures. For extra precaution, the mothers bury anything that sends out a strong odor. But there's a good breeze today. The scent may not remain in this secluded spot. Something is approaching. A vervet monkey sounds the alarm. Whatever it was seems to have gone. The mothers decide it's safe to return to their meal. By dusk, the cubs have had their fill. Now, all they want is sleep. But tonight, there will be no rest. It's one of the nomad brothers. He charges again. But Matimba and Kanya risk their lives to protect the cubs. Every second they stall him buys time for the cubs to get away. The mothers hold their own against him. But now, his brother arrives. He moves in on the giraffe kill. And that stops the attack. The mothers have no chance against two males. But the nomad's attention has shifted. They'll settle for the giraffe kill. The cubs can wait. Now, the two mothers have only one goal: find their cubs. Their soft calls tell their cubs it's safe to come out. The family is reunited. They will leave the nomads to their stolen meal and quietly slip away. By August, the dry winter transforms the bush. The grass dies back. Trees lose their leaves. Winter opens up the landscape. It's an excellent time for young lions to have a hunting lesson. The hunter must be patient, quiet, focused. In these conditions, a tawny-colored lion blends beautifully into the bush. Not so a white lion. The kudu spots her and escapes. Lesson over. But will these big white cubs begin to impact the pride's ability to hunt? It's now November. New clouds usher in the wet season. The bush bursts back to life. The cubs are growing larger and stronger by the day. The white cubs more visible than ever. By December, the white cubs are 18 months old, the males 20 months. They're real lions now, and their play looks more like real hunting. The pride has another giraffe kill, and their meal is attracting attention. For the next month, the hyenas are never far away, shadowing the pride, waiting for them to bring down prey. But today, something's not right. The hyenas have suddenly disappeared. Dawn finds the family shaken by another attack by the nomads. They gather in close for comfort and to reaffirm their bonds. The mothers and white cubs are unharmed, but only one tawny male cub is participating. The other isn't responding. He lies quietly, a deep puncture wound on his side. His mother, Kanya, knows something is wrong. So too does his brother. He only moves deeper into the bush. The instinct of a wounded animal to hide. His brother turns to their mother and invites her to play. But for the first time, Kanya refuses. An hour later, The poor cub can no longer sit up. His condition is worsening. His brother encourages him, tries to get him up. The cub is struggling. His mother is there. But there's nothing she can do. Still, his brother tries again. Ten minutes later, the poor cub has a painful seizure. And then, he's gone. His family holds back, unsure. And then Matimba and Kanya approach. In some quiet way, they understand this tragedy to their family. One of his white sisters says goodbye. And finally, his brother, his closest companion. Kanya's cub was 20 months old when he died. Losing him is a profound blow. The cub's death comes at the onset of summer rains, and a new cycle of life taking hold across Kruger. It's time for the courtship dance of quite a performer, the red-crested Korhan. It's been 2 months since Kanya lost her cub. But life goes on, and she still has one of her own and her sister's white cubs to care for. Every day presents new challenges to the white pride. After a failed hunt earlier in the day, the white sisters are hungry and pestering their mother to hunt again. Then something catches their eye. Vultures. They've spotted a leopard with a fresh kill. A tall tree is the best place to keep it safe. The young lions have learned that where there are vultures, there's often an easy meal to steal, if they can scare off the owner. The cubs spent their youth climbing trees. Now, they have their reward. The white cub is not as graceful as a leopard, but she still gets what she wants. Now it's Kanya's turn. But it's not so simple for a full-grown adult. She can't climb like the cubs, but she can leap. After all that, her reward is one very thin leg. It's the tawny young male's turn. He now weighs as much as Kanya. Only great strength will get him up this tree. He is as nimble as a leopard, and gets a choice cut of the meal. And provides a nice morsel for his mother. This tree climbing skill will serve him well. He won't have Matimba or Kanya to hunt for him when he leaves the pride. Stealing leopard kills could help him survive the hard times. It's June in South Africa, a special date for the pride. The white cubs are 2 years old and almost fully grown. They have survived all the perils and all the challenges of growing up wild. They also have a new home range far away from the nomads. A place called Klasiri. It's rich in game. They took down a buffalo in the night. But once again, hyenas are onto them. A brave white cub is ready to take them on. One hyena she can handle, but a whole clan is a different kind of challenge. She moves to confront them with a confident swagger. Just like her mother. No longer a cub. Right from the start, she takes charge, intimidating the hyenas. She scuffs the ground, claiming ownership of this territory, just as her mother once showed her. She is so confident, she lays down. The hyenas mistake this for weakness and move forward. They come at her from all sides. 13 hyenas. She lets them come. And then, it's her turn. The hyenas know they will not get past this lion. At sundown, the hyenas are suddenly spooked and flee. It's a large male, and he's heading for the pride. Matimba moves to defend her family. This male is new. He's not one of the nomads. He calls a greeting, not a threat. Matimba keeps up the aggressive defense and moves forward to intimidate him. But he doesn't want to fight. A white youngster, who's pretty intimidating herself, is there to support her mother. Now the whole pride moves up to join with Matimba. The hyenas help themselves to the unguarded carcass. Time to get back to their meal before the hyenas devour it all. Matimba seems to know this male is not like the others. So she returns to her pride and allows the male to follow her. The family is still on high alert. But he isn't here to attack them. He's here to woo them. But first, he will sample the fruits of their hunting. It will take some time before he wins their trust. But the family now has a big adult male to help defend them. By the time summer returns to Kruger, the new male has secured his place with the white pride. Kanya is the first lioness to mate. A new chapter is now beginning for the white pride. Matimba and Kanya's new cubs will be arriving soon. The tawny cousin will set out on his own. And the white sisters have a whole new life ahead of them. They're the first white lions to reach maturity in the wild in more than 2 decades. Their success so far has been remarkable. They began as scruffy little cubs and grew into fine young lionesses. For the past 2 years, they struggled to survive Kruger's fierce wilderness and the challenges of their white coats. But they've had 2 amazing lionesses looking out for them, teaching them everything they know. Their future will soon depend on their own abilities, their own teamwork, and their own wisdom. Will they be strong hunters raising their own cubs in the years to come? The story of Kruger's white lions is just beginning.
Around. All animals in the area must make long treks here to drink.
Today, as you
And
look
in
at the
40-degree
sun
heat,
and the moon,
many don't make it.
see them as the ones who know that a hungry belly
The river's
is
a
lion.
lifeline and a death zone.
Strands of connectivity run through Africa, linking waterholes, elephants, and the
For the
patient
croc
waiting
gangs,
lion.
the living is easy. Even the smaller ones get
They
to
appear
feed.
one day following a herd of buffalo. The similarities to hippo have not gone unnoticed.
But crocs aren't the only gangs in town. Lions also know the riverbanks are teeming with easy picking. And they're willing to fight the crocs for food. This buku antelope's caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yes, I know you from
After
inside.
fleeing from the lions, he's
Different,
stranded on an
but the
island in
same.
the croc-infested river.
We have agreed
He's got to
meet
get
like
off
this
or
before.
starve.
It's their chance, one of their last. A test how well they have learned their lesson.
The lions won't swim after their prey. They'll wait for it to make a mistake. The buku's biggest threat lies in the water. The young phantom is perfectly placed for an attack. Away from the gang, this antelope is his to lose. There's no way the croc can catch the buku on the land. But there's no way the buku can outswim the croc. It's like a game of chess with life and death stakes. The buku has to use the land to put as much distance as he can between himself and the waiting croc, and figure out the shortest swim possible. The croc must anticipate the buku's escape route.
Their mother's shadows have faded, and they stand naked under the moon.
boils down to a simple equation of speed versus distance. The croc submerges like a torpedo to reduce drag in the water.
Africa comes at you from both sides. It is a golden ray of light and a dark sloping shadow.
But his top speed of 10
has the
kilometers
power to
per hour
abandon
is not
pretenses
fast enough.
and the humor to play with your body.
The cuckoo's calculations pay off.
Did
He's
no one
foiled
tell
2
you
top predators.
that you belong to the hungry belly?
The young croc misses an easy kill. His solo hunting attempt is a failure. But the dry
The
season has
battles
another
between these two
food bonus
predators
on offer.
have been going on for millennia.
Huge numbers of hippos crushed together in the Luangwa's diminishing deep water holes to Cape Cool. No crocodile, even one as big as
A
Croc Boss,
fractured group
would
of
attack a
lions is
full-grown hippo.
swamped because of their weakness as a working unit. And the hyenas have sensed something.
They are way too big and dangerous to take on. A single hippo bite would destroy the big crocodile. But the crocs don't need to try to kill the hippos.
As they move away,
In crowds like
shaken
this,
by the
these
hyena
aggressive
attack,
3-ton
they step right
herbivores
into
will
another
often
conflict.
fight to the death.
one they will have to learn to deal with as they move further east across the more prominent elephant paths.
Leaving the croc gangs with a meat bonanza. A hippo carcass is one of the rare occasions when rival gang members join forces.
Right now, the young
Up
nomadic
to 200
group
crocs
could
from
break
different
up and
factions feed
scatter into
together.
the wind as lost individuals.
In fact, this
But the
cooperative
large
frenzy
lioness,
serves
who
a
so often
useful
takes the
purpose.
lead, starts to
Croc's
greet
jaws don't move
and
from side
reassure
to
the
side.
others.
When the
As she
carcass
does
is in
so,
water,
she
they
fixes
need
the
others
group
to pull
together
against
in a
to help
social
them rip
bond.
off hunks of meat.
and they become one. At last,
It'll take them less than 2
pride
days to
of life.
completely demolish a 1-ton hippo.
but one day, through the haze of failure in this
With the most
desolate
acidic
landscape,
stomach of any
the large
vertebrate,
lioness
crocodiles can
sees
digest
signs
every centimeter of a carcass. And
The
as
tracks
usual,
of which
the final
crocs
chunk
are
of
those
meat
walking
goes to the
beside
croc
me?
boss.
Are they from the fire or the flood? Are they the ones who wait for me?
No other croc
Is
has
this
the
my
power
map
to
of
argue.
blood? Is this my destiny?
Cooperation is officially over. Back on dry land, the lion pride is also living well off the deadly dry season.
They have arrived. After a journey
There's
through
no
some of
need
the
to
hardest
hunt when
country
the
in
scavenging
Botswana,
is so good.
paradise.
They rule the riverbanks just beyond the croc's reach. They own this feeding ground, and the crocs know it. Even Croc Boss won't come up here to try to take this
And
carcass
this
off
time,
the line.
they don't seem to care if their arrival sends shockwaves around them. This time, perhaps, they have
But
come too
anything
far
that dies
to give
closer
up.
to the water is in no man's land. And that means war. Lion versus croc. A dead elephant offers up a gigantic feast for the croc gang. They didn't kill it. The deadly dry season serves up another meat mountain. In this brutal time, even elephants are vulnerable. They need massive amounts of water, up to 200 liters a day. If they
But this
don't
is a
get
new
enough to
world,
drink, heat
filled
stroke
with a
can
wild
quickly kill them.
flurry around their heads, and giants that rule the land.
The crocs have the carcass now, but they don't own it. It's right in the conflict zone. The lions have started feeding on it, and they haven't finished. This prize is too big to give up without a fight. One young male wants more. His scrappy mane indicates he's barely 2 years old, but he's big and dangerous. Most of the crocs know to keep their distance.
But
Even
as
this
they
immature
infiltrate the
lion can
space
kill
around the
them.
water and calm returns,
But the
the real
inexperienced smaller
opportunities
crocs are willing
emerge
to
in
take
front
him
of
on.
them. The real value of being masters of this waterhole.
This is not a competition Croc Boss needs to get into. The pickings are slim, and if the gang wins, the carcass is his for the taking anyway. Without backup, the young lion isn't sure of himself. The crocodiles win
The
today.
glorious rewards of struggle and learning are short-lived. What were the chances of such a paradise being unattended? Every prime piece of wild Africa has its territorial male that has seen off many an
The
intruder.
gang now goes to work as fast as they can. It's a race to rip as much meat as possible from the carcass.
He has fought hard for possession and struts the confidence of
The young
old
pretender
victories.
wrestles a leg joint away from the smaller gang members.
He seems to miss the fact that the female has the sense
Aggression,
of nomad.
theft, and brutality are
His
the
brother
ultimate
may be
tools for
less
survival. In crocodile
But he's
hierarchy,
not.
bigger
These
individuals
males
are always
rule
looking
together
to
like most
exploit the
across
little
Africa
guy.
in pairs, so that their roars can confuse and their claws can slash together in their defense. But between these two, there
The
is an
smaller crocs
uneasy
have learned well from the
and she
master.
senses it. Driven by hunger and the flush of success, she tries
there
to
is
slip in
only one
unnoticed.
master.
It is a reckless move.
Croc Boss comes to claim his dues.
The females have been killed for less. And it is only as the meat settles in their bellies that they notice that the nomads are not of their own pride of female.
For the
Their
smaller
lioness has
crocs,
moved
the
south
feeding
to
is
have
over.
cubs a few weeks before, leaving the waterhole vacant for the moment, and their males without huntresses.
There is no way for the Phantom to mount a challenge. To have any hope of running the gang, he must bulk up. And he can't do
Darkness
that
is
on
no place to
leftovers
hide
from the
from a male
boss.
lion. Their tolerance has already been stretched.
He's got to find his own food. And the numerous drinking pools next to the river provide the perfect hunting ground. Every morning and evening, the antelope journey here to quench their thirst. A perfect opportunity for an ambush. But the impala are on high alert. To have any hope of catching one, the young croc
It's
must
now or
find the
never.
perfect pool in which
The
to
oldest
disappear
surviving brother
and wait.
makes a bold initiative, flanking right. His sister, the large female, circles to help.
The impala are
She is
smart
his
with the
only
crocodile
support.
strategy. They try to drink together where there's safety in numbers. crocodile must wait for a loner. The trap is set. He can hold his breath for 2 hours. And this impala has no clue that below the surface lurks a ravenous crocodile poised to strike. The young croc blows it. Impatience costs him a meal.
The masters
Crocs can launch their entire body out of the water in less than half a second.
Their oldest brother behind to his fate.
But timing is everything, and he has a lot to learn.
He is never seen again after this night.
The prey is
another
spooked.
casualty.
The hunt is over. It's a half chance for the lions. But it's a long chase, too exposed. And they're not that desperate. They don't have to try too hard. In the dry season, death is always just around the corner.
The young nomads are still around, watching, waiting. The males know it.
After the unsuccessful hunt, the young croc has to recover and recharge his batteries. Crocodiles bask to keep their body temperature up and digest more efficiently.
Cats test their will.
Crocodiles are not cold-blooded. Their bodies are as warm as ours most of the time. They just have to work harder to keep their temperature between 33 and 35 degrees.
They aren't going anywhere.
Phantom needs to regain energy.
Here. And what the young nomads see
during extreme
exertion,
exertion, crocodiles build up a huge amount of lactic acid. This is toxic and must be eliminated from their systems.
And the fiercest,
the only way
gray,
is rest.
And the gold.
Part of Croc Boss's success is his energy strategy. He lets the smaller gang members exert themselves. They work and he eats.
They say that behind every mirror there is a reflection of another face. It is the same with water, that ancient place where twins
and they have the most unexpected allies.
They say it is a place where gray and gold meet.
Water birds are usually fair game for crocodiles.
But it really only knows its own color.
But during the dry season, there's a truce. The birds don't fear the crocs. Instead, they collaborate with them.
Out here,
as water disappears from the inland lagoons, fish become trapped in the shallows.
For water.
Jammed together, they are easy for the birds to catch. Every attempt nets a mouthful of fish.
The body cries out for life.
The crocodiles benefit in exactly the same way and work with the birds to corral the fish into ever tighter spaces.
Extra step in the heat that drags at your lungs and fogs the mind. The elephants
each fish is a tiny meal,
of minerals
but for the small crocs, this technique is well worth the effort. But for a monster like Croc Boss, chasing small fry is a total waste of energy.
But it will boost their energy.
He'll wait and preserve his energy for bigger game.
That will sustain them until nightfall.
And other activities that are his alone to enjoy.
As that African night can be. Africa comes at you from both sides. Like the sun.
The dry season doesn't just bring a food bonanza.
And
there's
the
an even
that
bigger
creeps
prize.
Through your soul.
Mating.
It has two faces. One you see.
The ritual begins at dawn.
And one you must find. If
Lifting
you find
their heads, the
look,
females show submission and look for the most powerful croc to mate with.
The nomads have stayed, and the males have left their mark on these new females.
The boss raises his body and literally stands out
And
in
with
the
the
river.
birth of their cubs,
It's
the
a visible
nomads,
sign
those
of his
wanderers
status.
who crossed the wilderness and lost so much, go through yet another transition.
By rights,
They have
all
become
receptive
the
females are
pride
his.
of lions. Strangely, the male's courtship of the females has come with a guarded acceptance
But
of
the
the
young
males
pretender
as
is
well.
also drawn in.
For now. It's unusual, perhaps unique to this isolated waterhole.
The females secrete a pheromone into the water. It signals they're ready. But
And
even the boss
elephants
must
keep
perform
streaming
before
in
he
from the
can mate.
forests. Each day the sun gets hotter and hotter, and the numbers at the waterhole swell all the
It's
time.
the only situation he cannot control. The final choice is made by the females.
The new cubs take it all for granted. They know nothing different.
In mating
From
season,
birth, they have
females are
dazzled
permitted
and
to
played
wander
in
through
amongst the
rival
legs of
gang
giants.
territories as they check
An
out
echo of
potential
what their
partners.
mothers grew up with in the land of the hippos.
The boss's head
The
slaps and bubble
familiarity
blowing
takes
are the
seed
crop
and starts to
equivalent
grow.
of beating your chest. It works. The smaller male can only watch. For a one-ton monster, the boss's mating ritual is
Among the
surprisingly
elephants now,
tender.
a volcanic tension builds up as they struggle and wrestle
He
over
blows
the tiny
bubbles that
trickle of
delicately
fresh
tickle
water.
the female's sensitive neck area. The pair will remain together for up to 1 hour before
The
choosing
fighting is
new
inevitable.
partners.
So many bull elephants, so little water, so much potential aggression.
But one smaller female is
Africa,
not
the
prepared to
puppeteer,
wait.
is at work again.
She's interested in the younger rival. The boss's dance is coming to the end. The pair submerges for their final act.
There is a quiet waiting, watching, and an
And
acknowledgement
while his
of
leader is
opportunity
underwater,
when change
Phantom
flows into
chances
the
his luck.
horizon.
But the boss didn't get where he is by being inattentive. For a junior to mate with one of his females is the worst kind of disrespect.
Exhausted by
He
a
must
long
be
life
punished.
and a short supply of water,
Others have been killed
an elephant
for less.
collapsing under the force of a 6-ton body blow.
The young croc is now swimming for his life. He's offended in the worst way.
He gives up that drive
And
to
Croc
fight
Boss will
for
kill him
water,
if he can
for
catch him.
space.
But his chase
For
is
life.
half-hearted. The boss is still distracted by the mating privileges